All right, Aries. So I am feeling a really, really deep sense of calm coming over you guys that I don't think you've had in quite some time. Like, this feels like deep level relaxation, like when you come out of a massage. You know what I'm saying? So some of you might be getting body work done, whether it be Reiki or a massage or, you know, whatever. Just taking a siesta, you know, a couple days a week. Like, there's just this deep sense of being completely in your body and being completely at peace with yourself and your life. Even if things aren't perfect, even if things are still a little chaotic, but there's an overwhelming sense of peace that I feel has permeated your heart, and things are getting just a lot easier to handle. I feel like you're taking your time in a way that you haven't in a long time, okay? And just whatever had been challenging you, especially in September, I feel is really dissipated. I don't know if it's because you guys just had your full moon a couple days ago, but there seems to be a renewal here, okay? We do have the Page of Cups with the Nine of Pentacles. And again, when we're talking about peace in our heart, right? The Page of Cups is a very loving, innocent energy. And it's very refreshing because it's kind of like unscathed by life, right? Like children give from their heart without ever being concerned of what they're going to get back. And I feel like you're in a place this month, Aries, where you are able to give very freely to people in a very lighthearted manner. And it's just kind of like, you know, I don't necessarily feel like it'd be charity work, but it might be. But I feel like you're going to be very open-hearted and very ready and willing to offer yourself and your services and just like the loving part of you. I feel like people are going to be coming up to you saying like, oh, wow, like you look really good, or you're glowing, or, you know, that I heard about that project that you have going on. Like, I feel like you're going to be getting a lot of attention for your empathy and for your compassion. And it's going to take a large weight off your shoulders as well. Over here, we have the Knight of Swords, the Five of Swords, and on the bottom of the deck, we have the Ace of Swords. So anything that you had previously, if you had been jumping to conclusions on something, if you have been constantly arguing with people about something, or arguing yourself, like battling yourself about what, am I going to take this road, am I going to take that road, especially if it relates to work or having your finances in order so that you can go and do more things with your life or bring more self-care into your life. I feel that you're going to finally realize like what the missing piece was to this clock. I feel like it was a clock that just almost like literally I'm picturing a cuckoo clock, and like, you know how obviously the bird like jumps out of the cuckoo clock, and sometimes if it's like off, it would like, let's say it would ring or the cuckoo would go off at like 10 after the hour instead of on the hour. So things were just off. I think that is all getting rectified, and this is something mental. This is a conversation. This is something that just didn't make sense, just didn't quite click. I feel like that's all going to be dissipated. And if someone comes at you really crazy, if someone comes at you trying to talk reckless to you, I feel like you're going to realize instantly that it's not personal to you, that they don't mean it, and it's going to literally roll off your shoulders like water on like oil. Like it's just going to drip right off. All right, Aries. So what's interesting is the more I was sitting with your energy and, you know, laying out the cards and shuffling, the more I could feel that all this energy that you're dealing with this month is very, very, very situated in your heart chakra. Big time. Big time. Okay. And some of you are even activating your higher heart, which is another chakra that's between your throat chakra and your heart chakra, which is connected to, for lack of a better term, we'll say more advanced energy. Now, with that being said, I also feel like some of you may be really pushing your body, because some of you are going to get tired, like physically tired, especially if you work out or if you're trying to work out or trying to do a new routine. I feel like that can be a little tiring. I think there's a lot of things that you want to start, and it's not that you won't be successful in that, but I think that if there's new physical projects you're trying to get off the ground, new work opportunities, You know, if you have a lot of things to physically do, emotional labor this month is going to take a huge toll on you. Okay, I need to put that out there. The oracle cards that you have for this reading are Door to Romance with Adjacent Possibilities. Now, I really like this combo because Door to Romance is, you know, at the very least, your heart is opening to the truth of love, meaning a new wave of energy. Like I said, some of you may be connected to your higher heart chakra, or, you know, the emotional labor that you may be doing could be connected to healing and you know, letting old failures, if you will, or old resentments go. Okay, because the energy overall from the Rider Waite is the Nine of Swords. So I think they're going to be thinking about a lot more than you usually like to, if you will. Not that you don't think, but I think things are going to get a little bit more intellectualized and then being able to physically act them out. Because I think you realize that feelings, yes, can be acted on, but they have to also, on some capacity, be understood. And with Adjacent Possibilities, just because we feel something and we have an instinctual reaction doesn't necessarily mean that's the way we're supposed to act on said emotion or said experience or said opportunity. Sometimes we need things to kind of play themselves out without our intervention to see where it's going to lead. So I think your challenge this month overall, I almost said Libra, which is your opposite sign, but if you're dealing with a Libra, for sure, pay attention, or this may come up majorly at the Libra new moon, and we do have a King of Swords in your heart space. The Nine of Swords is, you know, if I can't act on my feelings or the things that arise in me immediately, if I'm forced to sit with them, what is that going to do for me? You know what I mean? How does that change my course of action overall? Because you're always going to be, you know, more to the impulsive side, right? You're always going to be, I feel something and I experience it right away. That's a fire energy. But there is a maturation, if you will, a maturing of how you relate to the things that you feel and the things that resonate with you. I think that there's something shifting in that maybe you used to take emotions or feelings at face value, like you feel them, you just, okay, well, since I felt it in this moment, it just means this, bye. But like there's something that's getting uncovered this month, and that's why with Adjacent Possibilities, the second you think you have everything figured out, you're going to be surprised, and you're going to get told, you know, you're going to get something revealed to you that's different. So I will encourage you, Aries, to stay open to possibility and stay open to, you know, things just taking whatever, you know, form spirit feels it needs to, especially when it comes to healing your heart, especially when it comes into bringing people closer to you or allowing someone close to you as well. And that may be making you nervous too. Maybe you have feelings or things coming up in you that you know you can't act on because either the person's not around or because it would cause more harm than good, or you're just afraid because you've never felt that way. You know, it could be a lot of different things. And I think what type of feeling, it doesn't have to be romantic necessarily, but it is heart-centered. And there are things that are very personal to you. And I think that you're kind of being forced to not have a one-track mind this month with Adjacent Possibilities here. What you're being asked to leave behind is the Hermit with the rune Protection and the Fool. So if you have been keeping yourself isolated or keeping, you know, everything to yourself or trying to do everything yourself, especially when it comes to starting something new, a new job, again, connecting to your heart in a new way, connecting to your emotional body in a new way, connecting to your mind in a new way. I feel like Spirit is saying that your efforts to protect yourself are actually kind of foolish, and that, yes, sometimes we have to isolate ourselves to figure out who we are, but we can't protect our truth. Or rather, our truth doesn't need to be protected. When it's our truth, we own it and we wear it and we bear it. You know what I mean? So if you've been kind of hesitating on taking the plunge, if you will, whether that be with dating or just getting to know yourself on a more intimate level, don't think that you know exactly like what that means. Again, this is about being open to potentials. But the Fool and the Hermit together are saying that whatever this new potential is, just expect that you're going to have to take whatever knowledge you've established in yourself or the newfound understanding that you have of yourself, and you're going to have to implement it in a way that other people can see it. Because I think that you've been kind of hiding off a little bit or trying to just keep to yourself because you're just, I think, concerned that maybe you're not ready for whatever this is. But Spirit is saying with adjacent possibilities that you don't even know how many different avenues this can go. So when we tell ourselves, oh, I'm not ready, but it's ready for what? Ready to feel something, ready to experience whatever life has in store for you. So don't discount opportunities that resonate with you and things that feel really good. I feel like it's important to go towards things that feel good, not try to label them in advance or not try to predetermine what they're going to do for you, and instead be willing to just experience them and show up fully. The door that's now open for you that was once closed, we have Judgment, clarified by the Six of Wands, and we have the rune, what is this? Wealth. So if you're getting an opportunity to either get a job back, get back into a field that you haven't dealt with in a while, or, you know, it's maybe a skill set you have that you haven't tapped into in a while, or if you have a lot of debt that you've been waiting to reconcile, or you're waiting for some type of judgment, like a legal document to go in your favor, you will be successful in that. Judgment is also talking about needing to realize that you've also attained a wealth of knowledge and a wealth of self-awareness since you previously went into this kind of circumstance, especially when it comes to matters of the heart and things that are emotionally connected. If you're making a judgment on what would happen if you exposed yourself to somebody, or what would happen if you lived a more heart-centered life, you may have a tendency to think, well, in the past I did X, Y, and Z and it came out, you know, in this way. But you've become much more successful in understanding yourself, and you will successfully not only learn from the things that you've experienced before, but you will be able to approach the new scenario with very fresh eyes. So sometimes we get afraid that if we go back to something that we haven't done in a while, we're going to get back, like all the other energy that we had around us at that time will continue. Like, let's say when you, like 10 years ago, when you were much younger, you had a very unhealthy relationship. So, and then you meet somebody that seems like, you know, a dream come true. But that person 10 years ago at the time also felt like a dream come true. And we think, okay, well, I'm going to mess up, or this person's going to be just like that person, for example. But in reality, we're not who we were 10 years ago. So how could it be the same? You know what I'm saying? So give yourself credit for all of the progress that you have made. Six of Wands. Okay? Because again, not only is this victory, but this is getting recognition and people seeing the work that you're putting in, and people seeing how successful that you are. Again, whether it be financially or just successful as someone who is really self-aware. Wealth also is talking about not only physical abundance and monetary abundance, but having, I feel, a wealth of self-knowledge. And I think that people are starting to see you as a reputable source. So being that the King of Swords is in your heart space, again, if there's any type of legal proceedings that you're waiting to get answers on, I do feel it will work in your favor. But it may take time. If it's a payout, if it's a financial payout, you may have to wait till Venus goes back direct early November to see that money. But if you are an expert on something, especially like intellectually, right? Or you have the tools like that people need. If you have some type of skill set, particularly that you had to study or learn, I think that will be more successful and financially rewarding for you than it has been in the past. And again, it may take time for you to draw in those clients or draw up those documents and get paid out for your effort. But I do think it's important that you draw on those skills, okay? your current energy as it relates to all of this. In your head, we have the Five of Pentacles. In your heart, we have the King of Swords with the rune Luck. And in your foundation, we have the Page of Swords with the Ten of Swords. You know, to take a love spin on this really quick, or a heart-centered spin, because we do have this Door to Romance card, you may have either, quote, lost the opportunity to court somebody, or lost the opportunity to start a relationship. And I say lost meaning the person left you, or, you know, cut you off, or, you know, it could be the other way around. But I feel like this had to end for you to learn that, one, there's many roads that lead to our desires. And there's many different ways to make ourselves happy. And there's many different ways to express love. And not everyone's love language is the same. I just realized both of these are 6. 24 and 33 both add to 6. So if reciprocity or lack of reciprocity has been a huge issue for you in relationships, I feel like this last one, if you had something end recently, ended because you're at the end of your rope. Like, you're at the end of that karmic cycle of dealing with people that don't meet you halfway. And that's not because now saying that you can meet somebody tomorrow and they're just going to be perfectly reciprocal, because it's going to require you to do work, you know, that inner work. And that's why I think you guys are having a very tired heart chakra this month, because it's expanding and growing so much. But the Page of Swords with the Ten of Swords is saying that sometimes the opportunities we receive are teaching us how to, you know, grant ourselves closure, or teaching us how to end things before they're very tiring, or end things before they drive us up a wall. You know what I mean? And sometimes, you know, we have to remember that people are, quote, taken from us or leave our life to do us a favor. So if any door closes on you this month, it is, you know, God's gift, if you will. The King of Swords in your heart space with the rune Luck is a need to be a lot more discerning and communicative about how you feel. And discerning in the sense that this energy can be cold, okay? However, I don't feel that this energy is actually cold. I think that you're having to really think about what you feel and why you feel it. And that's not to say emotions are always supposed to be intellectualized, right? Air signs do it too much, or Virgos. But this is a different approach. This is saying, like, you know what? I'm so used to just acting on how I feel, whether it be through romantic gestures or sexual energy or getting angry right away, like flying off the handle, whatever it may be. So this is kind of making you take a step back and take a much more mature approach and say, you know what? I need to say how I feel. And because I don't know what's going to come of it, but if I say how I feel, I know that there's no stone left unturned. And then I can't be surprised or disappointed or anxious later, wondering if they knew how I felt or knew, you know, what was on my mind or whatever. Okay, and you never know how it's going to turn out. So I feel like this is also about owning your vulnerability and finding out how powerful it is. Because the Five of Pentacles in your headspace, again, some of you have lost somebody, or you feel like you're constantly having to, like, you connect with people and you have to go through thick and thin with them just for them to leave. You also could be dealing with somebody that's at a distance from you, and you thought maybe you'd have the opportunity to you know, connect with them this month, like on a physical level, and you're realizing that's not possible. So you're having to learn what it's like maybe to talk more about your feelings because you can't physically act on them. You know what I mean? You can't kiss the person, you can't hug the person, so you have to actually talk about it. But with Luck here, I think you will be very favored for what emotions you are able to verbalize. The Five of Pentacles is saying don't give up, okay? And don't think that your luck has run out. I feel like that's really important for you to remember too. And know that you don't have to struggle to get your needs met. I feel like that's really important as well. You do not have to struggle to get your needs met, okay? But we do have to say what our heart needs are and our emotional needs and our spiritual needs are. And then if people don't meet them and you still stay or we still sticking around in those scenarios, then, you know, that's are bad, you know? Spirit's advice for you is the Hanged Man, clarified by the Page of Swords. And on the Hanged Man, we have the rune Journey. So things may seem like they're on a pause right now, but I feel like if there's any area of your life that is kind of in limbo, it's because you need to gather the facts, if you will, and really pay attention to everything that has led up to that pause. Because I think there's some puzzle piece that you're missing. Okay, the Page of Swords sometimes talks about, you know, like spying energy, or having to be really, really perceptive and read between the lines, because not everyone is saying how they feel. So be on the lookout. I don't think anyone's deceiving you or anything like that. This is not that kind of energy. But I think that there's even something that you're missing about what went wrong if something ended, or how you feel, but you've never like announced it before. There's something here too, because it's about journey. It's about like your overall opening up, right? Like unveiling, coming into the comfortability of being vulnerable. There's something that you thought you already took care of or thought you already healed that you're realizing you didn't. And it's not a big deal, you know what I mean? But it does require your attention in order to continue on this journey. So welcome any pauses in progress, because it's giving you time to be reflective, which is literally what Spirit is talking about here in the outcome moving into November. We do have the Four of Swords with the rune Home, and we have the Tower with the rune Fertility. So you may be surprised, like things may be changing literally at home, or you may be realizing that you don't feel at home in places that you used to. And you may be shocked at what energy or what person or what scenario is starting to feel like home, because the Tower with Fertility rune is really talking about there's a lot of opportunity coming into the back half of the month, going into November, as Venus, you know, slows down to go back direct, to have really radical realizations about what our home frequency is. And, you know, home is where the heart is, right? So we have to know where our heart is at. And I feel like you're going to kind of get mind blown by the end of the month about how much you care about something or someone, or there's just, I think you're going to like blow your own mind and like blindside yourself. Because the Four of Swords is a reflective energy, and the Four of Swords is like a meditative energy. And I think that the more you reflect on what does home feel like to me? What kind of home do I want? What do I want to come home to? What can the people I bring in or the things that I involve myself in, how can that make me feel at home or create a home? What does home mean, right? Home is comfort. Home is support. Home is coziness, right? I feel like there's going to be a redefining of all of that. But you guys know I do the mid-month readings as well as literal love readings that run month to month. All that info is in the description box below. If you want to get one of those come out towards the middle of the month. And some people are saying that even though they're subscribed, they're not getting notifications. So if that's the case, YouTube be funny sometimes. Hit the bell button. It's like somewhere up there. Hit the bell button, and then you'll know right away when I upload. And those of you that follow me on Instagram, it's in the bio. You guys get my IGTV readings first, and YouTube gets them second, because I started doing oracle readings for the lunar cycles. So get hip. And as always, if you need a personal reading, description box. I know that when I do my best at my job, I will be rewarded in all sorts of ways. I create a good feeling at work. I realize there are laws that govern the universe, and I work with these laws in every area of my life. So the reason I think you're getting pushed to be honest about how you feel, especially in the workplace or in things that you are much an authority on, is because when we apply intellect, right, and knowledge towards our emotional truths, that's where real magic happens. Okay, because knowledge wastes away just living in the mind. It has to be acted on, and it has to be felt and lived. So don't be afraid to live your truth this month, and you're going to be surprised about how it pans out for you. All right, Aries? Peace.